How's it going, guys? So, got Marshmallow on the 6. This is the final build. As some of you may have known, I was on the test drive, and today on the news, they've announced that for the Moto X style, that Android Marshmallow is being released. So I wanted to do a quick look at Android Marshmallow on the Moto X Pure Edition. So real quick, just to show you guys that I am indeed on Marshmallow. There's the 6.0. And there you go. Hold it down a little bit and you get the little game, which of course is as hard as ever, you know, but now you have little marshmallows. Anyways, so let's take a quick look, delve into the Moto X on Marshmallow. So the Marshmallow is very subtle with the changes. The first thing that came to mind is the fact that we're back to that boot animation that we all love. It actually tells us who made it. So it says handcrafted by Peter Crawley. I'll post a picture real quick because when I reboot the phone it does it so quick sometimes you miss it. But Peter Crawley is the guy that hand stitched that animation. Hopefully, I hope to see more by him. You know, he did a really good job on that. I'm going to take a look at real quick about what Marshmallow brings to the table. So first thing is, the biggest thing with Moto X is the fact that it has an SD card. So if you look at my internal memory, I've already actually done it. So if you go to storage in USB, usually it'll tell you your internal memory, then it'll tell you you have expandable memory if you have an SD card in there. When I reset it, the phone actually told me that my SD card wasn't compatible because I had already formatted it before. So you do have to reformat it as internal storage. So there's my internal storage and there's my SD card, but as if you can see here, total used is 11.8 out of 90. So they're actually all together, and I'm able to put apps on the SD card. So already I have 66 megabytes of apps on the SD card. So, and if we look here on internal storage, I believe on the app side of things, as you can see, there's no Instagram here. The full Instagram app is on my SD card, which is now part of my internal memory. It used to be you could only put part of it in there. So you can do that. It can take about anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes or more, depending on what your SD card has in it. If your SD card has a lot of files, you definitely want to make sure to try to erase them first, or make sure you back them up because it will erase them when you format them. So the next big thing about the update is that Motorola Assist is gone. It's been replaced by none other than Do Not Disturb. So you have the Do Not Disturb mode right here. When you click it, you have the option to do total silence, alarms only, or priority only. Priority, of course, you can have certain contacts designated so that they can bother you. Alarms only, well, no one can bother you except for alarms, so if you don't want to miss work. And you have total silence, nothing at all will bother you. You can do it until you turn it off, or you can do it for an hour, or you can add more hours if you want to. But you can always end it by going back here. But we're not gonna do that now, so we're not gonna turn that on. But that's what it's been replaced by. And I know some of you guys can be like, oh no, what happened to the assist talking to you while you're driving or when you're at home? Well, that's still here. So if we take a look into the Moto application, you go into settings. Moto actions is all the same, but it did bring in attentive display here, so it's here instead of being in the settings as it was before. And lift for mode, voice, flashlight, and the camera shortcut are still here. And then you have Moto voice. This is where it's been moved to. Speak to me. This is where you can have it set to when you're driving, so now it will still talk to you. And you can add different places. So you can add your work, your home, wherever you feel comfortable enough to have the phone speak to you, you can add that to it. So that feature is still there, so don't worry about that. And of course, Moto display is still as awesome as it is. But they did get rid of ambient display, which I'm proud of. Google is essentially, doing their best to keep as little on the phone as possible. That's not mandatory. So they've gotten rid of, like, if you look in the Google folder here, there's no Google Plus, there's no Google Play Games. So they've gotten rid of some of their own apps, and Motorola is doing the same. And when it comes to Moto display, they got rid of ambient display. So ambient display is no longer there. So they got rid of that because there's no need. And active display works way better. Moto display just works way better than ambient display. I'm not sure why you want to use it anyway. You can control your music, you can control your media like Netflix and Hulu directly from Moto display without having to turn on the phone. The next big thing about Marshmallow is the apps. You get to see so much. You get to see the insides of your phone pretty much. You get to control more of what your phone does, and you get to see more of it as well. So if you go to apps, you can see all your apps, yes, but if you go to settings, you can actually go directly to app permissions or app links. So we're gonna look at app permissions first. App permissions here, you can actually see everything that apps can have control to. So if you want to real quick pick the apps that have access to your camera, just go here and just turn them on. So if Chrome right now doesn't have access to my camera, Boomerang doesn't have access to my camera, but they'll need it to do what they need to do. So either I turn it on now, or if I go to Instagram and I try to go to Instagram here, and I want to do something that requires the camera, it'll ask me, do I want Instagram to use my camera? I'll say yes, otherwise I can't use Instagram. But that's the thing, now you have control over what your apps can do. So you can go directly here to toggle them on and off, or you can let the app ask you when it needs it. So when you download apps now, it doesn't tell you the permissions. You just do them one by one as you use the app, or you go here. App links is another cool one. It works with things like Twitter. So if I wanna, in Twitter, they have links. Twitter has its own browser, so you can either have it to where, if I'm in Twitter, if I set it to open in this app, I click the link while I'm in the app, it'll open in Twitter. Or I could have it ask me every time, so sometimes I'll open it in the app, other times I'll open it in my own browser. Or if I say do not open, it'll open it in my default browser. So that's another cool thing that they added. And then you have supported links as well. And then other defaults, you can do that. So you can have, for Chrome, for instance, there's no default sets because I only have Chrome, but you have also more control over what your default apps are as well. So default apps are right here. Draw over other apps. This is important for widgets and other apps for them to work properly, because they need to be able to work over other apps. So if you don't want an app taking over another app, you can obviously just turn it off. So you can see which apps have that capability. Photos definitely needs it. Google Play Music needs it. So especially for the lock screen. So if you want to control your music on your lock screen, Google Play is gonna need that so it can draw over your lock screen. So that's important there. Battery optimization is another good one. So right now I'm in not optimized. I'm gonna click all apps so I can see all my apps here, so I can see if they're being optimized or not. What it means is if there's an app that you don't use for a long time, Android can disable it, or they don't disable it, but they'll put it into inactive mode so that it doesn't affect your usage. It's just not draining your battery and it's not taking up your memory. So if you put it don't optimize, then if you do that, it can never be optimized. It'll never go inactive. It'll always stay active. But if you don't optimize, if you don't use that app for a while, it'll just go inactive. And then modify system settings, that's another permission. If a lot of apps will need this, so you can decide if you want them to modify your system settings or not. So that was the quick look about what you can do with your apps and how much control you have, because you definitely do have a lot more control this time around. Doze mode, I can't really show you right now because I've just turned the phone on, just restarted it. But essentially your phone will go into a deep sleep, so it'll realize when you're not using it. It could take about 30 to an hour minutes for it to activate, but once it activates, your phone will sip battery. I mean, I lit the phone for 8 hours last night, lost about 1% battery. So doze mode definitely works, and it's good for those people that don't like to turn off their phone, but maybe they'll be away for their phone for a couple of hours. They'll like to come back and not have their phone be dead. Or if you maybe forgot to charge your phone at the end of the night, maybe you're drunk, or maybe something happened, you just happen to forget, but you had an alarm for the next day, you're gonna wake up to your phone will still be alive because your battery will not be drained. So standby time has been increased dramatically. It was pretty good already compared to like last gen's Moto X, but now it's even better with Android Marshmallow, and that's one of the best things about this update. So as you use the phone, it learns more about you. So it learns who you usually share things with. So the people that you share the most will always be at the top of the list whenever you want to share something. So before your apps show up that you can share things with, your favorite contacts, your frequently contacted contacts will be at the top. Can't really show it to you guys now because I haven't really shared anything on this phone yet, but that's how it would work. So you can share directly to your friends, and then underneath it, then you see your contacts. It'll take some getting used to because you're used to having the apps first, but that's nice as well. And then you also have Google Now on tap. That's another big feature that's added, which is kind of a bad thing in my eyes in some ways, but it's very good as well. It will get better. Like if I hit it right now, there's nothing on tap, so it'll probably say no results found. Let's go to, if I hit it here, probably give me some Lakers news because I'm at Lakers. So Los Angeles Lakers, Kobe Bryant, and I can read that. And LaMarcus Aldridge, and you can click it. So that's nice there. But they got rid of the swipe. There's no more swipe up anymore. I think it would have been better if they kept the swipe and had the Google Now tab. So if you're not somewhere like right now in Google Now, you can just slide to the left. But if I'm not there, I'm on some other app, I would love to be able to just swipe up. What you gotta do is you gotta do this and then tap. So it's one extra action. So you can still get to it, but it'd be nice if you just kept the swipe. So Google Now tap works. It just looks at what's on the screen and gives you information, valid information. Sometimes it can be easy to set up a meeting with somebody, to save someone's numbers down, to navigate somewhere really quickly, to find a recipe real quick. Google Now Tap will work great for that. I think it still needs some improvements. Sometimes the information will be there and it doesn't do it the right way, or it'll look at one information twice. Like you do it one time, it gives you the right information, and you do it another time and it doesn't give you, it gives you different information. So it's not as consistent. It needs some work, but it's a great ad either way. There's something else that's been added that hasn't really been taken advantage of yet. So if you go to Google Drive and then you go to settings, you have backup, list of apps backed up. So right now there's nothing here because I haven't really been using this phone that long. But essentially your apps are able to back up information so that when you switch phones, you don't have to really restart from the ground up. But a lot of apps haven't really been taking advantage of this yet, and I can even show you on my Nexus 6P, which I've been using, and the backups on here. Most of them are just the default apps like the Android system, the calendar, the clock, the Gmail, and everything. The only app that shows up is Phonogram. That's the only third-party app to actually have taken advantage of Google's installed backup. So kind of similar to like how iPhone can back up, like your call logs and things like that. But this is not really being taken advantage of by other apps as of yet. Hopefully they do. When they do, this will be great. And yeah, that's one thing about the screen quality on Nexus 6P. It doesn't look very well compared to some other screens. Get that little pinkish hue. Sometimes it's yellow. But anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. So that's another feature there that would be nice. And then the last thing I want to talk about is what's been removed. So Assist has been removed, but a lot of parts of it have been moved to other places. Then we have Motorola Migrate, which you can use other apps. I'll give you guys the link of the article. It'll tell you where you can go to transfer stuff over. I have my contacts backed up to Google. I have my Google Photos for my pictures. I don't really care that much about my call logs, but there are apps for that as well. And then they also removed the Motorola Connect extension, the Google Chrome extension, so that you can get your text messages on your computer. But there are other apps like My SMS. There is Push Bullet as well as Mighty Text. They all do that. Some of them are pretty good. I probably will try Push Bullet, but I don't text as much. So that's pretty much it for Marshmallow on the Moto X Pure Edition. And also almost forgot volume controls. They actually fixed that quite a bit. So now when you hit the volume you get here, you can go directly to vibrate or loud from here. And of course you can control your ring volume, and if you click down you have music volume as well as your alarm volume. So that's very nice for them to have actually added that. Before that the volume was kind of a mess. So yeah, that's about it. I'm very excited about the update. Can't wait to put it through its paces. But wanted to give you guys a quick look at Marshmallow. I think it's a great step forward. You know, giving us more control. It's showing us more information. We're able to dissect our phone a little bit more, get a little bit closer, and our phones now can learn more about us and help us out without us having to do as much as well. So either way, it's good for everybody. It's good for people that like to mess with their phone, and it's good for people that just want to get a phone, pick it up, use it, and not have to worry. So see you guys in the next one. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section below or find me on Google+. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.